Hey, what's going on YouTube? Gary here, gzduel, here to make a banlist prediction video. The last video that I recorded was like 20 minutes long. I didn't want to put that out, so I'm going to speed up all of my explanations. I'm going to cut out some of my anger and some of my hate and ridicule. Not that I had a lot of those, but I'm going to cut those out. I'm just going to give you straight facts, what I think about the cards, and I hope you guys will enjoy this video. If you disagree, feel free to disagree. Comment down below what you think will get limited, banned, or set back to unlimited. And yeah, let's just have some fun, make some predictions, make a wish list. Okay, so the thing that I want to talk about first is the cards that should be banned. The card that I think should be banned right now is card destruction. Now, not that card destruction is like game breaking during this format, but that, I think in anticipation for the next format, card destruction might be one of the most broken cards. Now, card destruction right now, if they wanted to, is already pretty good. Dragon rulers, if they play card destruction, they can discard like 4 dragons in their hand, right? And then they can draw into, the super rejuvenation. They can, discard some more dragons from their hand. And during the end phase, they can change super rejuvenation, draw back all of their cards, and they would have resources for days in the graveyard. So that makes the deck really, really unhealthy for the format right now. And I could see that their potential use in the next format, if depending on how like the dragons get hit. If the dragons get hit like by limiting their gold sark, by limiting their super rejuvenation, like I have right here, card destruction might be one of their outs, one of the ways to save the deck and make the deck more fast, rather than just being killed completely. And as always, card destruction is broken in dark worlds. Your opponent opens up card destruction, discards like 2 snows, 1 brow, 1 grapha, gets to search 1 gate with the first snow, gets to search a something like a beige with the second snow. They get to draw a card, and then to activate gates, they special summon out the beige, they special summon out the grapha, and you're just looking at your own hand, the cards that you discarded, like Monster Reborn, Dark Hole, Heavy Storm. You're just going to cry. So I think card destruction is going to be really bad for the format next format when September rolls around. So I think it should be banned in anticipation. Okay, so with that heavy stuff said, let's go down to the list and let's talk about some of the things that I think should be limited. Now, the things I think should be limited to 1 are these cards right here at 1 copy. The first set, of course, are going to be the Prophecy deck. Things from the Prophecy deck that I think should be limited to 1. That is Spellbook Magician, Spellbook of Judgment, and also the Spellbook of Secrets. These 3 cards in combination is what makes the deck super broken. If you open up 2 out of the 3, you are guaranteed to, as long as your opponent don't have, Effect Veiler and all that stuff, sure. Granted that, that's like a stop, that's like a way out. But, if you draw 2 of the 3, you're probably going to plus 4, plus 5, special summon out Jowgen, and all of those shenanigans. So with that said, it's really unhealthy for the game right now. You guys have played against Prophecy. I've played against Prophecy. When they first played the Spellbook of Judgment, you're like, is this real life right now? Like, should I just quit? You're thinking that. I know you're thinking that, because that's all I think about when I see Spellbook of Judgment and people are stacking counters on Dueling Network. I hate that. Okay, so my hate aside, I think that these cards should get limited to 1 if they want to make the deck more balanced. If they want to promote, future product, like the vampires that are coming out, like the ghost tricks that are coming out, like the Boojins that are coming out. I mean, who's going to play Boojins when, you're going to have Spellbook of Fate and your Spellbook of Fate says no to Yamato? I don't know. You're going to lose. And then, if you summon out Kaiku, you use Kaiku, you attack, and then you're going to banish out, the Habakiri, the turtle, and all that stuff. It's not going to work unless they, do something about the Prophecy deck. And I think this is the way to do it. Limit secrets so they can't tutor the whole deck. Limit Spellbook of Judgment so they can't +4 during the end phase. And limit the Spellbook Magician because it tutors the whole deck as well. Okay, for the Dragon deck, I think 2 cards should get limited in particular. I think this makes sense for Konami as well from a business angle. Now, the 2 cards I think should get limited in the Dragon deck are Golden Sarcophagus and Super Rejuvenation. Super Rejuvenation is just busted. We all know that during the end phase, you can change Super Rejuvenation, so you can keep drawing. So if you discarded 4 dragons this turn, you're going to activate Super Rejuvenation. During the end phase, you can draw into another Super Rejuvenation, activate that one as well, draw into 4 new cards, and so on until you run out of Super Rejuvenation. And if you have extra cards in your hand, cool, just discard the dragons that you don't need, the big dragons mainly, and then what you can do next turn is just use the dragons effect in the graveyard. You're going to plus like 1 billion, and you're probably going to win. Same thing with Golden Sarcophagus. It tutors the whole deck. You banish out, Tempest, you get to search for Lightning. You banish Redox, you're going to search Reactant. You banish out Blaster, you're going to search out Burner. You banish out Tidal, you're going to search out Stream. I don't know how I just memorized all of those names. It's pretty amazing to me too, but I don't think this is a balanced card for the decks right now. It's just too good in the dragon deck. Them running it at 3 guarantees that they can always have a baby dragon, and they can always go for like Dragosack first turn. So I think this should get limited to 1 as well, just to stop the dragons. Now these 2 cards make sense. If they get limited, Konami can still continue selling their product. They're coming out with the tins with like all 4 dragons, the 4 elemental dragons. They want to sell those things. Now if they're limiting the dragons, the big dragons, the small dragons, those tins are not going to sell well. They need it to be at 3 because that extra 1 copy that you're allowed to play in the format makes you want to buy an extra tin. And that extra tin is like $20 to Konami. A business sense, you don't want to limit or ban any of the dragons. So the best way to make the dragon deck slow down is if they, limit some of their support. Okay, over here, we can't leave the ban list prediction video without, doing something to the Evilswarms. I think Ophion's going to be going down to 1. The first turn Ophion move is just so powerful. Ophion down to 1, they can still technically go for first turn Ophion, but they have to think about it. They have to think, hey, can I protect this Ophion? If I can't protect this Ophion, and my opponent somehow runs over it, do I even have a backup plan? They have to think about their moves that much more clearly, rather than, I have 3 Ophions in the extra deck, so if they get rid of 1, I'll just use Curseon's effect, banish 1, normal summon, special summon another Ophion, I'll be fine. And Ophion's inherently unbalanced. Look, Ophion's effect is like, search for a card that protects it from being destroyed by spell or trap cards. What? Are you serious? So you mean the only way for me to get rid of Ophion properly is if I attack it and destroy by battle, but you're going to set like 3 back row as well, and I can't special summon level 5 or higher monsters? Okay, Konami. If Konami is smart, they're going to limit this to 1 because Konami wants to apparently bring back Synchros with a vengeance. Now, this vengeance can't happen if Ophion says no to level 5 or higher monsters. All your Stardust, your like level 5 or higher Synchro monsters can't be special summoned out while this card is on the field. From a business perspective, we need to do something about Ophion, and I think it should go down to 1. The last card I think should go down to 1 is Big Eye. Big Eye is inherently unfair. It steals your opponent's monster, not until the end phase. It steals your opponent's monster forever. And it's a dark target. 2,600 attack. That means, Eradicate Epidemic Virus, Deck Devastation Virus. Not only that, man, it's a rank 7 exceed. Rank 7 exceeds, look, Dragons, they can get rank 7 exceeds. Mermails, they can get rank 7 exceeds. Machina Fortress, they can get rank 7 exceeds. We can't have 3 Big Eyes running around. It's just going to be this one game of like you stealing my monster, I steal your monster, I steal back my monster. It's just going to go on forever. It's not going to make the game that much fun. Okay. Now going down to semi-limited, I think Dragoons should be semi-limited first of all. Dragoons is what makes Mermails, consistent. Mermails, they want to discard Dragoons, search for Megalo, search for Diva, search for this, search for that. That's why, someone can play a 53 card deck and win a tournament with Mermails. It's because of Dragoons at 3. If anything, Dragoons should go down to 1, but I think Konami's not going to do that because Konami still wants to sell structure decks, and things from structure decks, other than, Agent of Earth getting limited to 2, they don't usually get limited to like 1 or anything like that, simply because they just want to continue selling these products. So I think Dragoons at 2 makes sense to me. Now, the next 2 cards, Gale, I think is really fun. If Konami wants to bring back Synchros, Gale is a really good place to start. Gale is a tuner monster. What better way to bring back Synchros than to revive some of these really good tuner monsters? With that said, like Striker goes into the same boat. Gale is really good inherently. It gets to half your opponent's attack. Now that makes your opponent, like if your opponent has like a 2,600 attack monster, you summon out Gale, you can run and commit suicide with it. If you have like another Blackwing monster, you can special summon out Gale, and it's just really good. It's a really good card. Now they brought back Kalut to 3. Why not Gale to 2? It's not gonna hurt anyone. Gale to 2, I think, can make the format that much slower. It makes people think about their moves because, you can't just summon out something like Draco Sack and just be like, hey, I'm gonna sit on this Draco Sack, because your opponent can just go Gale. Okay, now I'm going to use Gale's effect, half your Draco Sack, and then I'm going to bully your tokens to death, and what are you going to do with a 1300 attack Draco Sack? Makes the game more balanced. Same thing with Striker. I think Striker's really good. I don't even know why Striker got limited. So now I think Striker, if not coming back to 3, should come back to 2. It will really help out my Madolche deck, but that's just, from my personal self interest. But other than that, I don't think it's going to hurt the format that much. It's going to promote synchroing, definitely. I think Striker is inherently balanced because it has that Cyber Dragon effect, so your opponent has to have a monster on the field. So if you're using this in a 6 Samurai deck, you can go for first turn Shien, but that means your opponent would have already gone first. So it means your opponent could have set something like Torrential Tribute to deal with the things that you're going to summon out, or maybe a Solemn Warning to deal with the Shien that you're going to summon out. So the fact that it's like a Cyber Dragon effect already has an inherent balance. If not to 3, Striker should go to 2. If not, I don't know. I think they should free TG Striker, and Gale should be definitely at 2. Okay, the next spell card I think should go to 2 is Tenki. Tenki right now at 3 makes the Fire Fist deck basically tier 1 X format. It can tutor all of the Beast Warrior type monsters. It's like a reinforcement of the army for Beast Warriors. We all know that. Now some people may be thinking it's not as broken as reinforcement of the army because, you can negate it, quote unquote negate it with Mystical Space Typhoon. So, it's pretty good. So we shouldn't limit this at all. No, guys, seriously, it can search out Beast Warriors. It can give them an 100 attack boost. This thing with Bear is just like a mini engine on its own. We need to do something about Tenki, or else next turn Fire Fist, if they open up with something like Tensu and Tenki, they can go +3 as well. The 3-axis Fire Fist. They can get Leopard and use all of their shenanigans right here. Get Rooster, use Rooster, replenish your hand, search for Bear, all of that stuff. Tenki is just to make that happen sooner, more consistently, and it's not going to be good for the format. I mean, if they somehow get to kill dragons a little bit, then they hit Prophecy a bit, and they hit Evil Swarms, and they don't end up hitting Tenki to like at least 2. The format will still be as degenerate as it was before Prophecy and before Dragons came out. It's going to happen, guys. So that's why I think if Konami is smart, they should put it down to 2, because still at 2 is a fair card. It's a good card. People are going to run it. And if anything, Tenki is a common. They want to sell Bear, so they don't have to limit Bear. They can have Bear to like 3, so people will buy the tin. That's fine, but I think they should put Tenki, which runs the deck, to at least 2. Now the last card that I think should be limited, of course, is Abyss Sphere. Abyss Sphere should be limited for like a couple of reasons. It's what makes the deck, really consistent in conjunction with Dragoons. If you have that Abyss Sphere, you can turn the tide of the game around. Your opponent enters battle phase, attacks you with a monster, you can chain Abyss Sphere, your Abyss Sphere will summon out Abyss Lind. If they destroy Abyss Lind, you can use Abyss Lind's effect to special summon out, a Abyss Lead. So all of a sudden you have a 2700 attack monster on the field. So now your opponent may or may not be able to attack over it. Or if you have a heavy infantry in your hand, what you can do is you can chain that, summon out Lind. Lind will get destroyed. You can special summon out, Abyss Spike. Now, Abyss Spike will activate when it's special summon. You can discard the heavy infantry, destroy a monster on your opponent's side of the field, their highest attack monster, and all of a sudden you get to search for a level 3 water monster to your hand. I mean, it just turned the tide of the game right around. That level 3 monster you can search for another Abyss Lind. Next turn you can set up that Abyss Lind as well. So Abyss Sphere really runs the deck in conjunction with the Dragoons. If they don't want to see, Mermails and Fire Fist dominating next format, I think the smartest thing for Konami to do is to limit their most powerful cards to at least 2. The last thing, the fun thing I want to talk about right here, these 3 Tsukiyomis, I think it could go back into 3. At 1, when it was at 1, it wasn't hurting anybody. When it was at 2, it wasn't hurting anybody. I don't see why it can't come back to 3. I don't think anyone will ever run 3 Tsukiyomi and be successful with it. So I think it should come back to 3. It's not going to hurt anybody. So yeah, Spirit Monsters. Tell me what you guys think about my ban list prediction video. I think it's a bit late, but I don't want to show you guys another Madolche video that's like 40 minutes long. Yes, I did duel someone today, and it was like 40 minutes long. I need to edit that before I show it to you guys. Okay, it was a prophecy player. All right. So I thought, hit you guys with this prediction video, see if you guys will respond to it. Tell me what you guys think about my choices, my ban list prediction. And other than that, this is Gary gzduels signing out.